On this edition of the Koffers, with this axe, I shall rule. All right, today we are talking about the seedy world of bootleg action figures, or toys, whatever you want to call them. But we are talking about bootlegs, and no, not back in the heyday of the 20s and 30s when the government said no more booze for everyone. No. We are talking about the modern seedy world of unlicensed replications and other assortments. And I say that because this bad boy right here, I do not believe was ever meant to be sold in American markets. I think this is 100% a full-on bootleg that someone somewhere said, you know what, that looks cool, let me make it and sell it at a cost to the international market. So the backstory to this was back when Godzilla vs. Kong was coming out and we were in the depths of the pandemic and everyone had that fund money from the government, I decided to give a go at buying something off AliExpress. Now, I've talked to people who bought off there. They said, yeah, it's fine. Just, maybe use a credit card just in case anything happens. So I went looking for a SH Figure Arts bootleg King Ghidorah that was making the rounds at the time. Couldn't find it, but what I did find was this guy. And I'm like, what is this? So it was only $24 and like another $9 shipping from China. So I decided to take a chance. Placed an order, and within a week and a half, during the pandemic, mind you, this bad boy showed up at my front door in a box the size of a toddler, but as thin as a iPod notebook. And I just realized I just dated myself there, but that's neither here nor there. So I opened it up, and this is what was inside. So to this day, I am astonished that no one has produced a figure. I keep saying figure. A toy. It is a toy. A toy of Kong's axe from the Monsterverse. And that blows my mind because that feels like that would be the first thing out the gate to sell to kids. Wouldn't it? Yeah. But no one has done it. There was a company, I believe it was either Spiral or Prime One, that did produce a high-end collector's piece of Kong's axe that is meant to be hung like a replica sword from Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones. You know a nerd or two that has stuff like that hanging in their home. But this is something different. This is a foam rubber axe. Look. This was definitely meant to be sold to kids and or adults who still think like kids, which is why they got me with it. I was legit shocked by the quality of this thing because, this has to be made by someone who has some sort of understanding of making toys. This is definitely not licensed, but that said, there is a bit of quality to it that I cannot deny about it. So when it showed up, it was in two pieces. So there's the head piece right here, which is the spike, the axe piece, and the handle. Now, you can see where it's connected right there. I tried to pull it off for this video, but it is fused in there pretty damn good now. I've had this thing sitting around for about going on 3 years at this point, and I'm just now getting to it because, I am a lollygagger. But that said, it has held up very well. my nephews have gotten a hold of it. They are young, so as you can see, there is a bite mark there and a bite mark there. That is not how it showed up. So if you're wondering, like, hey, you're doing this video on this thing, yeah, I got little kids running around here and they got a hold of it. But that said, this reeks of Nerf. This reeks of something Nerf would have done about 15 to 20 years ago, especially back in the heyday when they went from like, let's make, you know, submachine guns to fire foam rubber darts to foam rubber swords, so everyone can just bash each other at their own accordance. This, yes, it feels just like a Nerf like weapon, but it's got a metal rod running all the way down through it. In fact, as I'm holding it, I can feel the rod inside there. It is solid. Like, it's got some bend, as you can see, but not too much. And it's got heft to it too. This thing weighs about like 4, maybe 5 pounds. That's it. It is still a mystery as who honestly made this thing. I don't know. And you see right there, this is the other problem with it, is that this is the problem with bootlegs though, and this is the point I'm getting at. It might be made for kids, but I have told people who have seen this, should I get it for my kid? I've told them no, because I don't know the health quality of this thing. Not to be stereotypical, but it is a bootleg from China. And knowing people who have dealt with these things, quality does vary. Some places do give you a solid product, other places cut corners, and I have noticed over the last few years that the paint does chip off a little bit. So I do not know if it's safe for kids, so I've made sure to keep it out of my nephew's reach and anybody else. So it's been kind of like just a weird oddity that I've had sitting around that I've been meaning to make a video of, and well, you're seeing today. But the quality elsewise in the sculpt is pretty good. I mean, they bothered to sculpt the wrap, as you can see, which is pretty close to what the movie version is. There's the wrap on the back. So then you got the detailing in the Godzilla spine, which I gotta give them credit. It's better than I expected it to be. There is, you know, the shading of the paint. It's a pretty basic paint job, but they did look like they did do a wash on it too. So there is some depth and some texture to it too. The bone handle is as such, with the you know, white paint at the bottom there. But I mean, for $25, I was expecting something, you know, I thought this thing was gonna be the size of maybe a wand, but no, it's, I mean, this is a 3-foot table, and it pretty much takes up almost the whole thing. It is sturdy. I have played some pranks on people with this thing. My brother's been whacked in the head with it a couple of times. It doesn't really hurt. I mean, look, as you can see, it's Nerf. It's a Nerf material, but it also kind of smells. When I opened it, there was a chemical smell to it, so I let it kind of sit out and, well, cure. That's the best. It's the best word I'm going to go with it. That said, this is a very weird, very odd piece of merchandise that to this day I am still astonished that someone like, well, Playmates, Nerf, no one has made. There is no Kong axe for kids to play with. You would think that you're selling a movie to kids, which, let's be honest, the Monsterverse movies are aimed at kids, but they're fun for everyone. Kids want to play Kong. Kids want to play Godzilla. And, I mean, if you're giving Kong a signature weapon, you'd think you'd sell it. I'm also still shocked that Kira's little doll of Kong has not been made yet either, but, well, c'est la vie. So, as for what I'm going to do with this, I have no idea. It's just been sitting collecting dust. I don't want to give it to anyone with kids because, like I said, I am not sure of the hazard quality on it. beyond that, for, like I said, $25 plus like 4 shipping, it's not bad. I did drag it with me to G-Fest one year, but much like anything, after a moment, you're kind of tired of carrying something around that you really don't need to. So it's just a very weird, odd piece of merchandise that I have yet to see anyone properly replicate. So look, when I was a kid, bootlegs were just pretty much remolds of other figures that were done very poorly. They always had a poor paint job, and you could always tell because they were sold either in gas stations, liquor stores, 99-cent stores, cheap Dollar Generals, and they were made with the cheapest quality that would melt under a 60-watt bulb. This, though, has got a little more life to it, but it perplexes me to this day because I don't know who came up with it, but you know what? God bless them, because they saw an opening and they went with it. So yeah, there you go. That is Kong's axe from Godzilla vs. Kong. All right, that'll wrap up this long-winded episode of the Koffers. Remember, if you like what you see, we do have a show. It is called the Kaiju Kingdom Podcast. You can find us at thekaijukingdompodcast.com. And if you don't like downloading, well, our show is also available on all of your fine streamers, including Apple and Spotify. We're also on social media. You can find us at X at the Kaiju Kingdom, Instagram at the Kaiju Kingdom, and Facebook.com/the Kaiju Kingdom Podcast. If you want to reach out, say hi, leave a remark, just talk kaiju in general and all the other fun stuff, that is where you can find us. So with that, that'll wrap up this edition of the Koffers. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.